Okay, so what I want to do here now is I want to show you how you can control some of the layer visibilities of things that you see around the place at the moment. So we still have got some car accommodation to work with maybe at some later date through here, but just at the moment we've finished off the main building to lock up stage, if you like, at this point. So what I'm going to do for now, I'm going to open up my layer manager tool again, but this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to uncheck the checkbox under visible for layer 0 and layout, and that tidies up a lot. First of all, it got rid of the JPEG image, and it got rid of a lot of our construction lines. So I'll just close the layer dialog box there now. Now probably these construction lines that were left behind, well, these ones only set out the posts there, so I'm inclined to get rid of those. Just use your eraser tool and rub over the top of them with your eraser tool until they're gone. Maybe this one out the front of the veranda, that's a worthwhile one keeping, but I don't want it to show up on these layers at the moment. So if I just use my select tool to select that front grid line there, I inadvertently before drew it on the post layer. But that's easy because now I can drop down that and change that to go to the layout layer. So that particular grid line now has been sent to the layout layer, and the layout layer is turned off, so it's not visible at the moment. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to orbit around underneath the building so I can see the underside of this floor that we set up before, and I'll just grab the offset tool, which is just here. Looks like two part circle arcs offsetting from each other there. So if you grab that offset tool and click possibly on somewhere near this back edge, you have to click until you can actually see on edge, and then pull your mouse away to the outside. I want to start creating surfaces that are away from the outside of the house. While you're in the offset tool, you can easily orbit, so you're now seeing a right way up side of the building, and bring your tool right out to something like that. We got a couple of funny little rectangles created through here, but I'm just going to see if I can click on them. I'll show you another selection tool. I showed you triple click before. Now what I'll show you is double click. So if you come to a surface with your select tool, if you go into the inside of the surface there, and if you double click, it not only selects that surface, but it selects all its bounding edges as well at the same time. So we can just press delete there, zoom back in, go to this other corner where it did the same thing, double click that and press delete. So double click selects the surface as well as any of its bounding edges, and triple clicking selects anything that is connected. Okay, so this surface that I created now, what I obviously intended to use it for was some surrounding ground. So I haven't got a ground layer at the moment, so I'll go back to my layer manager tool and I'll hit the plus sign to create a new layer called ground, and close the layer manager, and then click on that surface that we just created, but yeah, I want to change. You can probably double click. I think that's probably safe. Double click on the surface that we created, and that will select not only the surface but also all of its bounding edges. The reason why I hesitated there before is as has also selected the bounding edges along the edge of the house, but for our exercise I don't think that'll matter. And while you've got all of those entities selected, just drop down your layer select tool and change that layer to ground. Whoops, obviously I've lost my ground layer. This can sometimes happen if you inadvertently escape out of a dialog box rather than press OK. So I'm just going to have to go back and show you that again. So I'll go to my layer, hit the plus sign, create ground, press enter, and then close the dialog box. I probably didn't press the enter last time. So while I've got all these entities selected now, I can drop down the current layer and change all of those to the ground layer. So all of those entities now, that outside ground plane, are on the layer called ground. We might just do another save at that point and stop the video.